Hi, welcome to Fast and the Curious with episode 5, Fast 5.
Yes.
I don't have a good name for
No.
the show.
They made it impossible. They
I
blocked
know.
you out. The day's
Damn
finally
you, Vin Diesel.
The day's finally here. Are you stoked?
Yeah, I am.
You've been like, waiting for this one for like a month.
This is the introduction to the titular character of the Fast and Furious series.
Mr. Fast Furious.
Mr. Fast Furious The Rock. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's been a while since we watched the like return to form or whatever you want to call it, of Fast and Curious.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be good to dive back into the series, even if maybe like as we've discussed on and off camera, maybe they start to go downhill a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm still looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, I really don't remember much of this one.
Okay.
So like we'll see like how much it does or doesn't go downhill. I really don't remember much. I just hope you're disappointed by The Rock.
Yeah.
I want to see your dreams crushed. Like this whole time, like The Rock's gonna be in the movies. The Rock's gonna be in the movies. He's like, oh, he's real bad, and he's not. But I want that to happen. Yeah.
I've been trying to decide, knowing very little about it, if he's introduced as a villain or if he's just like immediately like one of the guys. And I've been kind of going back and forth on which one I think it's going to be.
Well, you'll find out real quick.
I hope so.
Yeah.
What if I like at the end of the movie, I'm like, so what was The Rock supposed to be like?
I'm hoping that the opening scene is different than I remember. He really grabs the camera, he's like, I'm a villain. Like,
Well, that's just good storytelling.
lots of movies do it.
Yeah. If you remember in The Shining, when he like grabs the camera, he's like,
I'm a nuanced character.
I'm crazy.
I'm good, but also bad.
Rebellions are built on hope. Yeah, but no. So anyway, I'm looking forward to this one. I normally have like some sort of, pretty spot on prediction about what the movie's going to be about.
I'd say you're like 60%.
Yeah, but this one I'm kind of struggling to think of stuff. I don't know. Like, I mean,
The
after
last one
everything
doesn't really lend to much prediction other than like,
Yeah.
oh, they're gonna break Dom out of that bus. That's how it ends, So like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
like-
really know where they're going after that.
Well,
so.
I thought it ended with Vin Diesel going to jail and Paul Walker giving him the finger as he drives by the bus.
That's what we wanted to have.
I thought
happen,
that's
but
what happened.
we're fantasy booking a little bit.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna say that maybe maybe we kind of go back to a Too Fast, Too Furious kind of thing, where maybe they're like working with the federales again.
We shall see.
Okay.
You shall see. I already know.
You're just like, wow, I don't remember that at all. That actually.
He's right. He's always right.
Well, I suppose there's no better way to bring us back to this.
I had no knowledge of this. I didn't know he was going to do this.
Let's watch the movie, okay? See ya. So, we just watched Fast 5 and got to get our first meeting with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Were you satisfied? Did he live up to your wild expectations?
Now I just have Jason Statham to look forward to. Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed The Rock.
Yeah. What'd you think of
Good character.
the movie as a whole?
I liked that this movie, at least I didn't notice it as much. This movie went a little more back to the practical effects.
I noticed that too.
Didn't
and I
lean
liked
as hard
that.
in the CGI.
I really appreciated that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, you can tell at least a lot of it is more stunt driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
There's-
is
The only like really clear like visual effects stuff that was like the last one where I was kind of like, fuck this, was like the very beginning with like some of the stuff where like when they like cut the wall off the train and it flies through like off and like
Oh,
some of
yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
But like then the rest of the movie, it's pretty much all like at least like majority practical
Mhm.
stuff, which that helps it a lot. Like so I noticed that too, and that was a definite strength for me as well.
So I looked down at my phone at this very moment when they explained it, but did they have two safes?
Yes.
So they had two giant safes
Yeah,
that they swapped
and
out.
I have no idea how they built or acquisitioned the second one. I have no idea.
Okay, hang on, wait. I remember they had one as like a test thing. Like they got
is
one
that
that was
what-
similar. If you remember,
Okay.
if you remember back, like when they're like planning the whole thing,
Yeah.
and they're like, here's your safe, and he's like, oh, and he's like going up and he's like messing around with it and everything.
I forgot all about that. But
Yeah.
okay, that's what it is. Then
So
they
that's
swap
what
out
it
with
is.
That one. Yeah.
But the fact that they did that switch doesn't make any sense to me.
How so?
Like, I mean, I know it's a movie,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't make any real world sense that they would be able to, in the middle of this car chase, swap these two safes out.
Did it help at all? Did you watch them like show how they did it, or were you
Well, that's what I'm saying
were
is
you on your phone?
I looked down at that very moment when they showed that.
I don't
like,
know if you would buy it anymore if you watched it, but it was like they went under this like tunnel and like they had like Giselle driving like a garbage truck with like a ramp, and they ramped the one safe in and then pulled the other one and like hooked it to the back of the cars like when no one could see them, like they were.
all right, well,
Yeah.
it's a little better.
Yeah.
Than just like what I was picturing in my head is some nonsense where the cars like somehow swap it like
No.
mid driving or
No.
something. That's a
Yeah.
little bit better.
And you know what? As far as so like I mean like this whole series we've been talking about how like myself and like other people, although I think I am in the minority honestly. Like I personally have like disliked the series more as it goes towards like the big crazy action stuff and away from like the characters and the like driving and stuff. I will say though, the like dragging and the safe thing works for me. It's like just the right level of like
Yeah.
ridiculous that's fun and exciting and like I enjoy watching it. Like
Yeah.
it's like just believable enough where you're not like annoyed.
Yeah. It's not, it's just it's like action movie stuff. It's not like stupid.
Yeah.
Like it still kind of makes some logical sense.
Yeah.
Maybe not a ton, but still
Yeah.
like it's, you could make it work in your head.
I can not to spoil something from the trailer of the 8th movie, but like you can grasp and accept two cars pulling a safe a lot easier than The Rock picking up a missile with his hand. You know, like
Yeah.
that stuff it gets to be too much. But this is like right on that line where I was like, okay, like this probably wouldn't happen in real life, but like I'm for it. It's like enjoyable. Like, and I found it to be especially interesting because like it's so fun to watch and like cool action stuff that I was still able to get into it despite not really caring about the plot for the majority of the movie. Like normally it's backwards. Like if you don't care about the plot, then the action means fuck all to you. But I was like, you know what? This is really fucking cool, and I can enjoy this fucking weird vault sequence, even though I really didn't give a fuck what was going on for a majority of this.
Yeah. Well, because it's like the movie is supposed to revolve around this idea that Mia's pregnant and they're trying to get money, like just as like to like have them set up and live an easy life or whatever.
Except that's not what they're doing though, because that's part
but then
of
it's kind of, that's what I'm saying. They kind of forget about that.
that's
They're
like
just
the biggest problem for me is like I couldn't understand their motivation in this one.
yeah.
Like, because there's a couple things that happen. So they discover this chip, right? And they're like, oh shit, this guy's like this big crazy like drug lord and he has all these different delivery locations and here's this whole map of his operations and like he makes a
Yeah.
lot of money and like we could take it because we have this stuff. Then there's the scene where like when they're laying that all out to Roman, he's like, this sounds like I'm down for business, but this sounds personal and this can get messy, whatever. And I was like, wait a second, like how is it personal? Like they don't have any real connection to this guy. And then like the only thing I can think of is that maybe it's from the scene where he like had them tied up and was like threatening Mia.
Yeah.
But I guess that would be like, now we have to go rob and kill this guy. Like it seems a little weak to me. But then on top of that, it's like, how the fuck did they get out of that? Do you remember? Because I don't. He has them strung up, right? And he's like, your sister's beautiful or whatever the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
How the fuck did they? I have no memory of how they get out of that situation. But more importantly than that, I don't understand why they're doing this. And I don't understand if it is personal or if it is just like, oh, we happened upon a guy with a lot of money and we're criminals, so we could just, no, fucking take the money. Like, it's not very strong of a motivation because they kind of look like assholes, but I would accept that more than this weird half-baked, like, it's personal when it really
Yeah.
isn't. So that, like, I just, like, because I think, like, two big things. Because I didn't know why they were robbing this guy, and because the guy they're robbing was so boring, I just did not care. I think this is, like, the least compelling story of the entire series.
Yeah. the villain, whose name I can't remember, but
Exactly. He's
General
He
Godfather,
is
like,
non-existent. Like even
he's so
like,
boring.
Lots of characters in movies like this are just like I'm generic bad guy, and like it's fine. This was like next level. He is barely there.
Yeah.
Like even in the last movie with like Braga, there was like kind of cool thing where it's like, ooh, the guy you think is him isn't really him, and
Yeah.
like they're responsible for like Letty dying and whatever. So it's like there's something there. This one, he's literally just a guy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. That's bad. My big thing with like the final big chase with the safe and everything is that our heroes murder a lot of innocent people.
Now hold on. They don't necessarily die. We don't see
Are we
anyone
going to believe
die.
that they like go through the middle of a bank with that safe and don't kill a single person?
It's
I mean, it's like Batman driving around in Batman v Superman, where I was like, no, like he doesn't really murder people. Like,
I don't know. I'd have to watch it again. I mean, probably.
Yeah.
He probably did. I just love that scene because like Brian has like the it just felt like such a real reaction where like they're dragging the safe by and it's fucking destroying everything.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh shit! Like I like love that. Like that's like great.
oh shit, people are dying.
Yeah, I don't know. Like one of the things that's missing for me in this one too is like I feel like they hadn't quite nailed the group dynamic yet. I think you'll see in the next one.
Yeah.
Like they really like get how to have them all be around each other and banter. Whereas in this one, they're starting to try to attempt that.
Yeah, it's not quite there.
It's not like the most of it is like fucking Roman and Ted just being like, did he slap the ass or grab the ass? And it's like, come on, like
Their scenes together were bad.
yeah,
Like just bad.
yeah. I felt a lot of the what was supposed to be like fun character interaction just doesn't work in this
Yeah.
one. In the next one, I remember there being moments where I like laughed out loud at some of the interactions between the characters in the next couple. So like they eventually do figure out how to have them all be the kind of group they're wanting to have them and be in this one, but they just haven't found it yet. And I think part of it might be that this is the first time. So like if you're gonna geek out and look at like, okay, like who was responsible for all these movies? This is the first time that writer Chris Morgan, who came on for Tokyo Drift and stayed
Okay.
from then on out, this is his first time writing Tej and Roman and their interactions with Brian. And
Oh,
whoever. So, like,
yeah, sure.
I feel
Yeah.
like that might be what it is. But I think he gets a good grasp on those characters in the next one.
I feel we should talk about the major continuity error that is Roman thinking that owning a garage is stupid
In this one,
in this one, but in Too Fast, Too Furious, which you can go back, we had a long discussion about how he wants to own a garage.
well, was it him though, or was it Brian? I can't really remember. Like, was it the thing where Brian
They were
suggested
gonna- well,
it
I mean,
and like he was just like, okay? Like I don't remember the conversation.
I guess I don't remember the exact conversation. I just remember them leaving that movie going, we're going to go open up a garage
Yeah.
together. And they mentioned it earlier in the movie too. Like that was like one of those like things through the movie is they're like, when we're done, we're going to go open up a garage.
yeah.
So there's got to be something going on
And in this
in
one-
the extended Fast and Furious universe where Roman got burnt and now he
Opening
no
a garage.
longer wants to own a garage.
Either that or his specific criticism of Tej was that like he's getting all this money and his dream is to start a day job. What if they did go through with the garage and Brian's like, see ya, I'm gonna go be a cop again. And so like Roman's left like running the front desk. He's like, fuck, this sucks. Like, and so now he's learned his lesson that opening a garage would not be fun.
Would Brian have been a cop after two?
Because in
Oh, 'cause he
4,
is in-
when
he
we
is in
come back,
4.
when we come back to 4, that's where he is.
Yeah.
He's back with the FBI and shit.
Poor Mia. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
she's settling down with a guy who has obvious commitment issues. like really, really, really obvious. Where he cannot stick to one thing for long. It's like after 2 months, he gets bored of whatever he's doing, and like that poor kid is gonna like have a very devoted dad for like early on in its life, and then he's just gonna be gone because he's gonna be bored.
Hey, he's always come back to Mia. That's the one constant. Except for the part
So far.
Except for the part in this movie when they pull up to the race and he's just like looking at all the girls and like the bikinis and shit. And he's just like going gaga. Like,
There's a couple parts, especially with Brian, where the movie gets a little dated. Like the fact that he like unironically says, "So what are you gonna do, dog?"
Oh yeah, there's. I didn't even catch that one. I was thinking of the moment where he thinks he won the race, which is my favorite moment of the whole movie, by the way. When the whole
yes.
scene where Dom lets him win,
Yeah.
and like the other character like congratulating him. It's like I told you wouldn't notice, and like that whole thing is great, and like especially the character motivation of like Dom would fucking do that, and like I
Yeah.
just like I'm gonna go on a tangent
No,
for a
go
second
ahead,
here.
go ahead,
I
go ahead.
really fucking geek out over if you're keeping track of these fucking characters in these movies. So the first movie, Dom is like clearly the better racer. Like that's his like element, and he's capable of beating Brian any day of the week. Then by the time of 4, we see that Brian's actually like he can beat Dom in a race now, but Dom had to cheat because he had extra motivation. Then in this one, it's like, oh shit, like now we don't know who's gonna win. So like that scene is a lot more intriguing in this one because we know that either one of them can take it at this point. And then like to have it be like, okay, like now we're still not sure who would win because Dom let him win. Like, you know, like well, I mean, at that point, I guess you're sure that Dom would have won. But you know what I'm saying? Where they keep the simple thing of Dom and Brian racing and who is the better driver in any given movie, that stays fresh and interesting throughout the entire series. Like,
Well, it's the to compare it to another long running series. It's the same idea as Rocky and Apollo Creed,
That's-
which
yeah.
I know you haven't seen all those movies, but they do that same thing where it's like, you know, well, they allude to it in Creed. That's what I was going to make the joke is like, you know, in 20 years when Vin Diesel's like old and he's teaching, you know, Paul Walker's son, Brian's son,
Yeah.
who's, you know, Mia's kid.
Yeah.
When he's teaching him how to race, he's like, I heard that there was a 5th or a 4th race between, wait, how many races have they had?
at this point, like,
What would that last one going into the credits have been? The 4th race?
fourth. Yeah.
Yeah,
fourth.
so he's like, I heard that there was a 4th race between you and Brian.
It's like, guess you'll have to watch the credits to find out an animated sequence with the cars driving by the names. That's what they did in case you didn't see that.
Oh, okay.
They had their cars doing the race, but it's during the credits, so you don't even really pay attention.
Oh.
And I don't know if they show the result of that either in the credits. But yeah, no, my favorite part of the movie was that whole deal with Dom letting him win the race so that him and Mia can have more money to raise the kid. And then I'm glad you mentioned Mia because there's one other thing I want to talk about. I feel like they really wasted Vince's death in this.
Yeah.
I feel like it didn't mean anything, and it could have.
Yeah. Like I said in our very first episode, I don't really care about Vince though. So,
I don't either.
and I kind of, and in my mind, just in my own personal opinion, it was kind of just like the whole Hawkeye thing where it's like, oh, so he has a family, so you should care about him. And I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, well, that's nice.
I mean, that element of it didn't work for me either. I think the coolest thing was, and maybe it didn't quite have the same effect of watching them over a span of a few months as opposed to like years. Like my biggest thing was like, oh, cool, Vince is back. I never thought that he'd be in these again.
Okay.
So like that kind of automatically makes you feel like seeing someone that you didn't know you missed kind of makes you latch onto them more than you have any reason to. So I feel like there was from that alone, and then I did like some of the interactions they had where he's like, you never listened to me, not when I told you he's a cop, not this, like whatever, like when they did the little callbacks, and like I said, the fact that he had the scars on his arm from when he was dangling off the truck, like basically just all the ways they connected Vince in this one to him in the first movie. I liked all that stuff, but as far as the new elements like the family and like the weird like double turns or double crosses but not double crosses they had him doing in this,
Yeah.
and then the fact that he dies in just like a random shootout, like it just felt like they missed the boat on like, I feel like they could have taken him in this movie and made him into a character that you didn't think you'd like, but then by the time he's dead, like, oh damn, like Vince was cool, and like now I'm sad, like, and like they just
which is what I would have said on this episode. Oh damn, Vince was cool, and now I'm sad.
Yeah, but they just didn't, because like it's not like he gets killed by like the main antagonist or he dies to like protect somebody, or like, I mean, like these are stereotypical things, but things that maybe could have worked anyway.
Yeah.
But like as opposed to just like I got shot by a random goon in a fight that was never really mine or yours to care about, because it was literally just like they were being driven to jail, and then like Hobbs gets like assaulted, and I forgot how much they make a big deal out of Hobbs' men dying, and that was good too. Like I actually like I didn't necessarily care about those characters, but I felt something because he did.
Yeah.
So that was cool, and it gives a good logical explanation for him becoming one of them.
Yeah, why he at least becomes a cousin in the family.
in the family, yeah. But man, I just feel like the Vince thing was just really pointless and like lame, and like nobody cared when he was dead. Like fucking me and Brian didn't even care. Like,
Oh, that sucks.
Dom was like leaning on the table and was all grown. Like, we're gonna fucking do this. Roman's like, that's your man's on the table. And that's the end of it. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Brian has no reason to care.
Yeah, he like never liked him.
Like, I mean, he was nothing but a dick to him. And he like, obviously he's not going to say that to Dom.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy's over here going, you were always a brother to me, Annie. Like,
and you were a dick. Like in the background.
That would have made for a dramatic scene.
Yeah, that would have been great. But I'm looking forward to, because like I said, like, I don't know, like I did enjoy parts of this, and there are parts of it I like every movie in this series. There's none of them, not even the newest one, that like I'm just like, this sucks and I hate it. Like there's parts that I like and parts that I don't like. But like I feel like so far, this is definitely the one I've enjoyed the least of the ones we've rewatched for this. And I also think now that I've watched them all like somewhat recently, this might be like one of my 3 least favorites in the whole series. It's
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not a movie I would want to like I wouldn't be going like, hey, let's watch Fast Five, you know, like
there's just too many. This is the one where I'm asking the most questions. I'm scratching my head the most. Like, wait a second, how did they do this? Or where did this come from? Or like, why are they doing, you know, like there's just too many things where I'm getting taken out of it by things not making, like even the little thing I pointed out where like, they talk about like when they had this like practice course set up, right? And like, this is what it's going to take to get this vault. And they're like, we're going to need a car that can handle those turns and can go fast enough to avoid the camera, whatever. And so they go out and they rob us. They fucking cock tease us with the race scene, and they don't show us the race, and they just pull up with the car. And then when they're showing everyone doing the test run, they're not using that car, which I thought the whole point was they needed that car specifically or one like it to be able to do it. And they're just like driving whatever car they feel like. It just like, there's a lot of little things that start to add up where it's like, I really don't get this movie. And for a movie that's supposed to just be like an enjoyable thing to watch in the summer or whatever, like you kind of need to be able to understand it.
Yeah. I was going to find this really quick. I saw it on my phone, but now I'm trying to pull it up on my computer and I'm having trouble finding it. But there was a guy who said, oh, here we go. User reviews. Let's do this. Like one of the first thing that pops up when you type in Fast Five on your phone is this user review that is I want to read that one too, but I'm going to find this. Okay. The best of the franchise, 10 stars.
All right.
Author Average Joe's review.
Well, your opinions are average, Joe.
This is from 2011.
Okay. That's the year it came out.
Yeah.
I believe.
I've been a personal fan of the F&F series ever since the very first title was released. Once I saw that Fast 5 was in production, I immediately began hunting down a pass for its first showing. I was successful.
I love this.
Fast 5 is everything we all love about the franchise. Fast cars, beautiful women, and of course, some nail-biting action scenes. Whether you're a longtime fan of the movies or a brand new viewer, this movie is a must-see. You're guaranteed to get your money's worth on this title. Best movie I've seen in a long time. It even managed to remove the bad taste that was left in my mouth by Tokyo Drift. This is going to be one of the biggest movies of the year. See it or be left behind.
That's a fucking review. They should put that on all the posters and all the DVDs.
See it or be left behind.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to read this whole one, but I just love this title. I wasn't expecting much from this, but wow. So you can go read user reviews of Fast 5 on IMDb, but Average Joe's I wanted to make sure that I shared with the video here.
Ooh, I like the ending too. I forgot to mention with like the simple thing of like how it's been like I'm gonna see you soon. It's like, no, you're not. Like I like that interaction between the two of them and like,
yeah. Well, I like that. So for this being like a, you know, franchise and we've talked about like the earlier ones, they weren't planning on it being that, but I would assume by this point they're like, yeah, let's keep making these.
Yeah, they know.
They don't like, they wrap up nicely. Like they are contained movies. Mm-hmm. They're like, they obviously like allude back to things and everything, but it's never like, oh, well, but you know, we'll leave you hanging with this for 3 years until the next one comes out, you know,
this could have been, that's really not that. Damn, that's tripped me up now. Like the last two could have been the end of the series. Like you could have went out on just seeing like Dom's going to prison, but no, he's not. They're coming to get him
Yeah,
out. That could have been as the end
and then
of
it
Fast
leaves you
and
hanging. It's
Furious.
like, you know, their adventures will continue.
But you don't get
Yeah.
And then this one could have been the end, like, oh damn, they have all this money now, and they're like,
and there's the last race between the
Exactly.
two. You know, like
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
I mean, either way, it wraps it up nicely
Yeah.
at the end. You know,
That's a good point.
Yeah. So
I
interesting.
don't know if you necessarily want that in a thing you're trying to have continue. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like to feel like any of them, like, well, I'm done now. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's nice in a world where a lot of times these like big universe or franchise movies don't do that.
yeah,
Where they like leave you hanging and you're like, fuck, now I have to wait 3 years to find out it's not like the same as like a TV show.
Yeah.
Where you can wait till next week to find out what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is wait, 4 years to find
Yeah.
out what happens. And so while, it would be interesting if like there was like one, like all of a sudden like realization at the end that you're like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
It bothers me when movies are like, like, oh, well, they just like, they leave like it just hanging there.
Yeah.
Like if I was watching Star Wars at the time, the ending of Empire would kind of bug me because I'm like, now I have to wait for, like, I'm going to go see Return of the Jedi anyway, guys. Like,
Yeah.
why do you got to like leave me hanging like that?
That's true.
It's great to watch in order, but it's like,
Yeah.
it kind of like, it's a sour ending to leave a theater on,
Well, I guess I'm full of shit too because I fucking went and saw the next one. Like, the fact that they are self-contained and have like what could be endings never deterred anyone from seeing the next one. So I don't know. I guess I'm just wrong.
Well, because I think they're at the point where like you don't like the movie doesn't need to
don't-
sell you on the next one.
Yeah, it's just like if you like these movies in this franchise, like you're in the bag, like you're going.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're
you know there's gonna be more, and you're down for it.
They have like a certain like clout that they're just gonna do well.
Yeah.
They're not gonna bomb when they come out.
Yeah,
But yeah, all right. So
I'm excited for the next one.
I am too
6 is my favorite of the like new age Fast and Furious movies.
of the prequels.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess that-
and well, 7 and 8 are not prequels either, so I can't.
Okay.
It's my favorite of the prequels and also of the rest of them. Yeah,
of the post Tokyo Drift era.
yeah. I might like it more than Tokyo Drift. I don't remember. It's been a little while since I've seen it, but it's up there for me. It's one of my favorites in the series, so I'm
cool.
excited to get to that one.
If you like this, make sure you hit subscribe right over there, and keep checking back. We have all of the videos. If for some reason you're watching this one first, we have all the ones leading up to this one available on YouTube. So hit subscribe and do all that. And of course, if you like this kind of thing, we do a movie club podcast where we do all sorts of different movies. So you can check that out on SoundCloud.com/movie or /Alien Happy Hour, SoundCloud.com/Alien Happy Hour. And of course, we're on the podcast app of your choice. Thanks for watching. And we will be back with Fast and Curious 6.
There you go.
No more of this not being able to throw the curious in there. Thanks for watching.